And welcome to the K-Files this morning. We have JP with me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Captain Jeff Sherrod with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to have you here.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
the first of the month, so he reported for duty.
I skipped last month. So
Yes, you did. I know
had
you're
to be back
busy.
this month.
You're busy. You're a busy man. But
Yeah.
you're not busy as far as new cases.
No, thank goodness. I mean, we have cases that come out
Oh,
every day,
sure,
but
yeah.
nothing major. So
Yes.
that's always a good thing.
That is a very good thing. So we'll get right into it and talk about some of the cases that we've talked about several times. But, you know, it does prompt people because I had a call. We had a tip called in on a Rocky Mount case this week
Good.
to the station. They had seen it on YouTube. She said, I watched the show. I think she watches it on Friday night. We repeat it on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, but I didn't see that case, but she said, I saw it on YouTube. And she said, I know something. So, you know, we do, folks, please call in. Please call in your tips. Captain Sherrod and his team need your help for
Always.
these cases. So, let's talk about what you have.
So starting with the oldest one is, of course, Letitia McNair. That's a case we opened up about 1.5 years ago where the family asked us to reopen it. Letitia went missing in January 2001.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, you know, we found a skull on a cemetery outside of Red Oak. And then 8 years later, some guys riding four-wheelers ended up finding the remains, the rest of her body about 1.5 miles down the road. The family asked us to open it. I've done tons of interviews on it, just trying to line up some more interviews, and hopefully we can get lucky and bring this one to a closure.
Yeah, that would be very good. Now, she was a special needs person.
She was.
Correct.
She was. She was special needs, and she was in the guardianship of her aunt. And at the time she went missing, and you know, back then they did tons of interviews and things of that nature, and just weren't able to get all they needed. And fortunate for me, I've been able to find some stuff, but I hadn't got that last little piece to be able to go in front of a DA and talk to them yet.
You know, I just don't think people like that, they don't bother anybody.
True. I mean, and that's what society tells us, is people normally with special needs tend to stay to themselves, don't bother
Peaceful
anybody,
souls.
always happy-go-lucky kind of people, and that's what people said that Letitia was. I mean, I've talked to her family several times, and you know, they've always said she never bothered anybody, and she was just happy-go-lucky kind of girl.
Well, if you know anything about Letitia McNair, you know, we have $15,000 and we can pay you up to $15,000 for a tip. So please call us. It's anonymous. You know, I won't know who you are. JP won't know who you are. You can call the Sheriff's Department. You can call 459-4121. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you can also call, you can always call Crime Stoppers, 977-1111, and you can call 406-6736. It's the hotline number. Folks, there is a way for you to contact Nash County and help them out with this case if you know anything. And remember, these cases, you're paid upon arrest, not upon conviction. You don't have to wait 2 years. Your money will be given in cash very quickly.
True.
So, anyway, let's go on to the next case.
The next one would be Randy Colgrove. Randy was shot and killed at his home in October 2017. It appears to us there was a home invasion. A struggle ensued inside the house. Randy got away from him, and then another encounter occurred outside. It looks like Randy got away from him again and ran down the path a little further before they ended up finding him and shooting him, which is where the next morning some people coming to check on Randy found him laying in the path. We've worked this case since the last time I've been here, and we've talked about this case. Sheriff Stone's asked two of my detectives, Josh Trull and Chris Boyd, to look back into this case and see if there was anything that could be done, see if there's anything we missed. anything new that they could have popped up by re-interviewing people and stuff like that. So those two detectives are currently still working
So
this case
you're
right now.
revisiting.
They are.
They are.
Mhm.
Yes.
They've gone back and tried to do some interviews. They've looked at the stuff that we did back when it occurred, and just seeing if we might have missed something, or the smallest little detail may have been missed back then. So they're looking into this. And
But it's always good to have new, fresh eyes.
right, I agree.
To look at something and kind of maybe take
Exactly.
on it, from a different perspective. or something.
Neither one of those two guys were involved back then. So it's good, like you said, for them to look at it and see if they see something that a little small detail that we might have missed back then.
Right. And I passed by that road the other day, and tell everybody where the road is.
It's 58 Highway, right almost across the street from where Vivert Road goes to the left if you're going towards Sandy Cross, and just past the landfill out there on 58 Highway outside of Nashville.
Yeah, every time I pass by there, I think about it. I said, oh, there's that road.
Yeah.
There's that. So, if anything comes to mind, folks, please let Nash County know. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
And then the next one is Melito Armstrong was shot and killed at a large party out on Lonesome Pine Road outside of Whitaker's. Today is the 3rd, correct? Today the 2nd or 3rd?
3rd.
All right, so in 4 days, that'll be 1 year. That
Wow.
occurred on August the 7th of 2022. It's still mind-boggling to me how 200 plus people can be at a party and nobody sees anything.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's just a trend right now. Edgecomb's got a case like that. Rocky Mount PD's got a case like that. Halifax has got a case like that. I mean, it just seems to be all around us, where a large group of people get together, somebody gets shot and killed, and then nobody wants to talk to the law enforcement about it.
Right. And, we need to give closure to that family.
Oh, most definitely. 17-year-old kid.
Absolutely. Don't you know they are hurting? She went to a party and never came back. So we definitely need closure in this case. So 200 people at that party, somebody needs to come forth. We know somebody knows something, so, okay.
And then the last one is still, as we classified, as a missing person, which is Travis Lynch.
Yes.
Went missing Christmas Eve 2003. Hadn't found him or the car since that time. And we've worked this case throughout all the years. We worked it hard back when it first occurred. I took a whole summer under Sheriff Jenkins and worked this case. Still couldn't get a whole lot. Found new stuff out that we didn't know before, but nothing to get you to where you need to be. And we just still try to get tips anytime we arrest anybody down in that Bailey Middlesex area. That's one of the questions we always ask them. Hey, you know anything about this? And unfortunately, we just hadn't been able to get any breaking change in what we already know.
Right. And this was in
2003.
2003.
Mhm.
It's been a while.
Down where J.P. lives.
Right. Middlesex. Right.
So.
Okay, well, if anybody knows anything, call Captain Sherrod, call the Sheriff's Department. He'll get this to the proper investigators that are working on that particular case. So please, as we said, bring closure to families. It's so important. And it's important, people, to get these people off the street. Because I can guarantee you, some of the people that committed these crimes that we see in this book, they've done something else.
Oh,
We
most
just don't
definitely.
know it.
Most definitely. And
Yes.
We've always said, not only have they may have done something, but they've told somebody.
Yes.
People just can't keep their mouth shut,
No.
especially if they think it's going to boost them up to a little pedestal where they can say, I'm the big man on campus or whatever. But they've told somebody, and if those people would just come forward, call the sheriff's office, call Fighting Crime, text a tip, call whoever you want to, because you're going to remain anonymous, and we're going to make sure you stay anonymous, because the courts allow us to do that. So we just need your information. We don't need you to give us your name. We just need your information.
Exactly.
And two last things before I go. One,
Okay.
one is this Saturday between 11 and 2 is the Sheriff's Office book bag giveaway.
Oh, yes, and that's always a great thing
It
that
is,
y'all do.
but between us raising money and Capt with fighting crime,
Yeah.
raising and getting supplies for us, I think that we somewhere close to 400 book bags we'll give away Saturday morning.
Wow.
And plus we're going to cook hot dogs and stuff like that. So we have the Nash Edgecombe County Command Center out there cooking hot dogs, and then we have like different displays out there from the Sheriff's Office. We have the drone flying around. We have our evidence techs doing stuff. And then, like I said, we're going to give away about 400 and some book bags.
Where's this at and what time?
At the Sheriff's Office parking lot between 11 and 2 Saturday morning.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Well, come
That's
on
good
out. If
stuff.
your child
Yeah.
needs a book bag for school's fixing to start, go right on out there. Sheriff's
Exactly.
Department would be glad to give your child a
yeah,
book bag.
Sheriff Stone is supposed to be there. Several of the deputies will be there, so come on out, meet us, shake hands, get a book
Yes.
bag, get a hot dog, and just have a fun time.
Very good.
And the last thing is, man, since I've been here, it feels like it's been forever since I've been here, but Parker went in front of his, my son Parker went in front of his Eagle Scout board and was awarded his Eagle Scout. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
we're waiting for his letter to come back from Texas. They said it usually takes between 6 and 8 weeks, and when that comes back, we're going to have his Eagle Scout ceremony, and then we'll have the dedication to the fallen law enforcement memorial.
Yes.
All at the same time.
Well,
so.
I'm still waiting because we're going to film that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm still waiting for you
Well,
to tell me.
It's been done. Everything's complete. Now we're just waiting for the letter to come back from Texas so that we can have everything at one time.
What a big accomplishment.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
It is.
I know you're so proud of Parker.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a nice young man. He's a good-looking young man. I don't know. He looks like his mom, I guess. But anyway, he's a very good-looking young man. I see him out and about with Captain Sherrod.
He'll be there Saturday.
And yes, so anyway, you've raised him right.
Try.
So
But thank you.
anyway, yes, absolutely, and we look forward to seeing. Maybe we're gonna have him on, and we keep saying we're gonna have him on TV.
We will. We can get him up here. Once it's all done, we'll get him up
Yeah,
here.
we can tell. We want to know what he went through to get this done, and all that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, well, thank you,
Thank you.
Captain, for coming this morning,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
guess we'll see you. Well, we're gonna see you around at the
Oh,
book
yeah.
bag giveaway, but we will see you the first of next month as always.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll be right back with
See you,
myself
Steve.
and
See you,
JP.
brother.
And welcome back to the K Files. We're gonna get into some cases this morning. All right, JP. We have been going kind of backwards in the book,
We had,
and we have discovered several new cases in here, haven't we?
yes ma'am, about
Yeah.
every week we stumble across a case that was not in the previous
Yeah,
printing of this book.
absolutely.
Um,
So this week, let's see.
Last week we were around February of 17. February
Right.
of 17. I think we worked off the page on the right.
Okay.
The Tammy Pierce case, we didn't talk about it last week.
Yeah, and I remember that case. We do need to talk about Tammy Pierce. It's a
Mhm.
very interesting case out of Wilson, I think.
Something that I hadn't had a chance to tell you. Do you remember the name Danny Bailey? Danny Bailey worked at the sheriff's office here in Nash County when I was a teenager. He's from the Bailey area. He left Nash County Sheriff's Office, went to work with Wilson County, was one of their lead drug investigators, ultimately went into private investigations when he retired. I bumped into him at the grocery store in Wilson. When the new sheriff came in, he just decided to retire out. He is a private investigator now, and he's been retained to work several cold cases in Wilson.
Really?
One of them is the triple or quadruple homicide down
Yeah.
581 just south of Bailey. And we were talking about the show. It came up, and he wanted to come on.
Well,
And I told him that we would work out a date and a time, and He would really like to come on and discuss the cases that he's been retained on to work.
Yes.
Reach out, to the public and
That'll be
see if he can
interesting.
get some information. I'm sure he's got photos. I'm sure he's got a lot of things that he would be willing to share with the public on these cases and bring some people to justice.
Absolutely. We certainly welcome that. That would be a
Mhm.
very interesting show.
But Danny Bailey, great guy. I think he actually ran for sheriff here right after Frank left office, but great guy.
Oh,
Great
really?
guy. Mhm.
Okay, well, that's something to look forward to.
Mhm.
We hope he will come on and share, because we talk about Wilson cases a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, there's several in this book. So, and Tammy Pierce, Selby Outland, what?
Yep.
So there's 4.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
this
let you
was,
get
This
started.
case was Tammy Pierce, Selby Outland, Paul Pierce, and Nicole Privet. This case is from Christmas Eve, 2016, 12/24/2016. Police responded to a welfare check on Banks Lane in Wilson. Upon arrival, they found that all 4 victims had been shot and killed inside the residence. This made statewide news. I mean, it was all over the
Yes.
news media at the time.
Yes.
Wilson Daily Times, WRL covered it. It's not every day, you have a quadruple homicide.
But we certainly don't have a lot
right
in the book.
Mm-mm.
We need details
not
of
a lot
this.
of information. And this is, again, why I wish Wilson County, Wilson City, I
Would
wish a lot of times
participate.
they would participate,
Yeah.
because the person who perpetrated this crime, or people, they could just as easily be from Rocky Mount. They could just as easily be from, the Nashville area, or involved in other cases in this book.
Yes, it doesn't mean that they live in the suspects
That's right.
in Wilson,
That's right.
So
Mm-hmm.
wow. Well, we don't have a lot to go on with this, but Tammy Pierce, Selby Outland, Paul Pierce, and Nicole Privet. Somebody knows something
Yeah. Yeah.
that happened on that Christmas
Christmas
Eve. I
Eve.
can tell you.
Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully we will have Danny Bailey on to talk about this. Okay.
The other case that we're going to talk about next is James Graham. This is a case I don't remember being in previous print editions of this book. James Graham, this case is from June 8th, 2016. James Calvin Graham Jr. was found in a field on Cisterna Road in Wilson County. He was reported missing on June 6, 2016, and his car was found after being set on fire in the Buckhorn Landing area June 4th, 2016.
Wow.
Buckhorn Landing, and what's coincidental is that area of Wilson County is the same area as the quadruple homicide we were just discussing that Danny Bailey wants to come on and talk about.
Really?
There's a lot of unsolved cases involved in that area of the county in Wilson County, which is just across the Nash County border with Wilson.
Okay, where across the border exactly?
If you're going 581 south,
Okay.
travel into Wilson County, travel not quite to 42,
Okay.
and that's going to be the area of Buckhorn Landing.
Okay. Because I don't have any idea about that area.
And it's out near the
Wilson.
reservoir. It's
Okay.
out near the reservoir.
Okay.
It's a lot of housing developments have popped up out that area. Buckhorn Landing, June 4th, 2016, James Graham. Like I say, he was reported missing. His car was found, burnt up. If you know something, please, share a tip. Share what you know.
So he wasn't in the car.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
The car was just found,
Mm-hmm.
set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. If you know anything about James Graham, please, June of 16, please come forward. We have money we want to give you.
Mm-hmm.
We have cash we want to give you. So please call.
This next case is a Rocky Mount case. It is from February 5th, 2017. Orlando L. Flowers. Orlando L. Flowers was leaving a residence at 811 Arlington Street in Rocky Mount after watching the Super Bowl with some friends. When he exited the residence, he was shot several times and killed in front of the residence. That almost sounds like a hit.
Yeah,
Just
he was
based on
definitely
the
targeted.
Yeah, just based on the information that was shared. February 5th, 2017, Orlando L. Flowers, 811 Arlington Street in Rocky Mount. You know, watching TV, watching the Super Bowl with friends, gets ready to walk out of the residence and he's ambushed.
Well, I remember Lyndall, when he was here, giving some more details of this. There was a girlfriend involved and
Okay.
another man. So I remember that. I remember there was a girlfriend involved and another man. So all of this kind of centered around that.
Okay. So there's a lot more to this story than just what appears.
Yes, and what we might do, since we're visiting that this week, by next week I may go back and pull the Orlando Flowers video that where Lyndall gave details.
Okay.
Because he had some good details of this case. I remember that. So we may do that and revisit this case next week. So anyway.
The other ones we had discussed. The next one here in order is one that we've talked about here time and time and time again. Is from 11/11/2014. Hoy Jefferson Cobb.
Yes.
Hoy Jefferson Cobb, 75, was found dead in his residence on Jeffries Court in Rocky Mount. He died of multiple stab wounds to the chest, according to his death certificate. There was an open package of condoms on the bedside table. A woman's hair tie was found on the floor of the bedroom. According to an investigation report, Cobb had an acute amount of alcohol in his system. According to the toxicology report, robbery was not the motive, as nothing was taken or missing from inside the residence.
I wish they could solve this case.
Me too.
I want to solve them all, but
Yes.
this one, I wish they could solve this case.
I'm asked about this case right here. I'm asked about this case more than any case.
I think this is the
I'm
most
asked
popular
about.
one in the book.
Mhm.
People talk. His family asks me questions all the time. I know two of his family members, and they say, are they ever going to solve that case? He frequented Gators.
Yeah.
And he had left Gators. He had been to Gators. So don't you know that somebody there knows who he, was hanging around that night, maybe even saw who he left with. But they knew, he was known to like women.
Yeah, I was told he was what I call a good time kind of guy.
Yeah,
A good time
yeah,
Charlie. I mean,
yeah.
just,
He was a member of the Elks,
Okay.
big member of the Elks. He sat at the bar at the Elks almost daily, a lot. But then again, he was very, very faithful to his church.
Mhm.
He went to it's a church on Winston Avenue, Trinity Lutheran. Yes, Trinity Lutheran Church, and they said he was in Sunday school. He was in church every Sunday. That come from a first-hand account of somebody I know at the church. So, he was he was a former Nash County Commissioner.
Yeah.
He's part of the family, the Capt family, that owned the Walmart land out there, the Walmart shopping center, all of that. The Capt Corners is what it's called. He had rental property like crazy, so, somebody said, well, maybe it was somebody that was in a dispute about rental property. I said, with a condom and a hair tie on the floor. Nah. So anyway, I don't know, but I wish they could solve this case. It's very intriguing. Very intriguing case. So if anybody knows anything about Jeff Cobb, is what they called him, but Hoy Jefferson Cobb or Jeff Cobb, his murder, please come forth and call one of the numbers. It will be anonymous, but somebody knows something that was at that nightclub that night. So, all right, we got to go to break. We'll be right back with some weather and more of the K-Files. Okay, welcome back. JP and myself are here to entertain you this morning, if that's what you want to call it. But we're here for serious business. We want to solve some cases. We're talking about Hoy Jefferson Cobb. There's some more details.
There's a lot of details here that we've learned over the years. Some of it is kind of makes you take a step back and kind of reevaluate this. One is the number of times that he was stabbed, and how many, and the instrument used. I believe it was reported that it was like a screwdriver, and he was stabbed repeatedly.
Can you imagine how bad that hurt? Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You know, the tool that was used, a screwdriver, from what I understand, it was not one of Mr. Cobb's screwdrivers. It didn't come from his garage. It didn't appear to be one of his. It didn't appear. Okay, so that leads you to believe, you know, what kind of screwdriver was it? Were they able to get prints off of it? What name brand? And that would lead to other little bits of information. If it was a cheap knockoff brand from Walmart versus
why did they leave the screwdriver there?
They weren't thinking.
I mean, that was really smart.
Or it was staged.
Or do they have the screwdriver? Did they just know from the?
Now, from what I understand, they recovered one.
Okay.
But you know, it's
okay. So that was dumb.
Yeah.
Leave the weapon behind.
Yeah. Well, that's just like the woman's hair tie that was found on the floor.
Right.
You know, the open condom package. You know, there's a lot of things here collectively that could be odd. You know, when you look at, you know, was it staged? And this is just me speculating.
Yeah, and it could have been.
You know, when you're investigating a crime, especially like a homicide, you need to take a step back and really evaluate and think about everything in its place.
Yes.
Is this odd? Is this out of the ordinary? Or most homicides that we go to and work like this? You know, is somebody trying to get me to form an opinion about what I see? And you have to kind of, you know, be mindful of that. It's like what me and Skeet were talking about earlier, and that is a fresh set of eyes. You know, if you get 2 or 3 investigators in there who have not conversed about a case, and all of you kind of come up with the same thing, odds are that's likely, you know, the narrative. But now if I look at a case and I think, hey man, this looks almost staged, and you think the same thing, you know, you need to kind of take that approach. I would love to see this case file. I would love to have access to what they think.
Right.
But like I say, even living in Middlesex, I have more people ask me about the Cobb case than any other case that we've ever discussed on the show.
Absolutely. I think it's gotten more, as you said, there's been more conversation about this one than any case we talked about. So
you know, when you're stabbed like that when you're stabbed multiple times,
yes,
that's, you know, indicative of anger, of rage, of build up emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just, you know, I'm going to get you. It's almost like payback,
Yes.
vengeance. How dare you?
And a screwdriver is not something you're going to take if you know what you're going to do.
If he picked this girl up at a nightclub,
Yes.
I mean, let's just be real. How many females do you know that tote around a screwdriver? I don't know of any. You
No.
know, I just don't. That's what makes me think either A, boyfriend was following his girlfriend around, or a husband was following his wife around.
Mm-hmm.
He got caught up in the moment, anger. He found her at his home, or the other extreme case is staged.
Mm-hmm. Well, very interesting. I would love to know. All right, we have time, I think, for one more case.
Okay, this next case is from December 27th, 2015. Demond Rashawn Batts. Demond Rashawn Batts. Demond Batts, who was 24 years old at the time, was shot and killed at MLK Park in Rocky Mount. Rocky Mount Police got Rocky Mount Police got a report of shots fired in the area. Batts, who was from Tarboro, was found lying in a pool of blood on Virginia Street in Rocky Mount near the MLK Park around 11:40 a.m. EMS tried to revive Batts, but was unsuccessful. Wow, 11:40, almost noon on December 27th, 2015.
Broad daylight. Yeah.
Middle of the day.
At MLK Park. You know where Virginia Street is. It turns off of Grand Avenue down there. It's kind of back where OIC is. And,
Okay.
yeah, where OIC and all that. MLK Park. That's in a pool of blood. That's pretty sad. 24 years old.
2 days
So,
after Christmas.
Yes, 2 days
2015.
after Christmas. We need to bring closure to this family, y'all. We really do. Somebody come forward. It will be anonymous. For any case in here, it will be anonymous. And we can pay you cash up to $15,000. So please come forward and collect some cash. And quickly. As we said earlier, it is not upon conviction. It doesn't have to go through court. They just have to be arrested. That is all. So we need your help with this case. Demond Rashawn Batts. All right. Well, that's all for today. We hope if you want one of these books, I say this every week, and I've had some people stop by and pick some up. You can certainly get one. So it's a very interesting read. It's got lots of cases in it. Might be somebody you know in here, or it might not, but it's interesting anyway. It's cases that are in your community, right here in your community. So anyway, we hope you'll come and get one if you would like one. The number to call is 406-6736 if you know about any of the cases we're talking about, or it doesn't have to be about one we're talking about. I mean, the call I got this week with a tip was about one that we visited about a year ago. So, anyway, thank y'all for watching the K-Files, and we'll see you back. And you can watch it on YouTube, and you can also watch on Friday nights, 7 o'clock, the K-Files as well. So, make it a great day, everybody. Thank you, JP.
Yes, ma'am. See you.